night. I hope y'all are having a fantastic Monday. It's currently February 8th, 2021, and today we are back again with another episode of the WPT Lifestyle Show, exclusively presented on YouTube and Anchor.fm. And we have a special one for y'all. So our most previous episode we dropped on Friday, discussing our preview of the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Super Bowl, right? We thought that was going to be a really close game. We thought it was going to be Kansas City, stacking up points, right? That wasn't the case. And we're going to go into deep depth, regarding the whole outcome of this game throughout this episode of the WPT Lifestyle Show. Now, there's a lot of controversy going on regarding this matchup, okay? Unfortunately, the Kansas City Chiefs lost 31-9. They were only able to put up 3 field goals in the first 3 quarters of the game. No team scored any points in the fourth quarter. Man, what everyone expected to be, a killer matchup, both teams electrifying, lighting up the scoreboard, wasn't the case. This was the first time all season where the Kansas City Chiefs didn't score at least 17 points. They put up 17 on December 27th against the Atlanta Falcons, probably end of the season, but everything else, they were putting up points after points after points, and the whole season. We knew that. Mahomes was able to scramble around in the pocket a lot, and of course, they had that mix up on the offensive line. 3 guys had to move all around throughout the offensive line, so it was very tough to adjust. But you had 2 weeks. You had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. Okay, and it's not like Tom Brady was out there slinging the ball, acting crazy, acting a fool. Right? We discussed on Friday. The key matchup to this game was whoever wins a turnover battle will win this game. Tom Brady didn't throw the ball. He didn't throw the ball over, which was very surprising. The other 3 playoff games they participated in, he had interception, at least one in each game. Mahomes threw 2 picks, 2 interceptions by Patrick Mahomes. A very, very poor passer rating, about 52%, which was not great. And it's crazy to see. Obviously, like I said, 3 members of the offensive line, they had to move around. You had Eric Fisher, who tore his Achilles in the AFC Championship game. Then you had, so they had to, plug someone in at center. They had to move the center to right guard, right guard to right tackle, all the way around. So it's interesting to see, what happened here. And we're going to go deep depth into, what exactly happened here. But let's give a quick recap in case you weren't able to catch the game. Some quick stats. Patrick Mahomes will cover the Kansas City Chiefs first. Mahomes, 26 of 49, 270 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He was sacked 3 times with a QBR 49.9. Not good at all. The rushing game, they were able to put up 100 yards. Okay, Clyde, 9 carries for 64 yards. We told you this run game was going to be crucial if Kansas City was going to win, and didn't happen. Mahomes, second leading rusher for the Chiefs with 33 yards for 5 carries. Longest was 11. Tyreek Hill with a short 5-yard carry, and Darrell Williams didn't do much this game at all. 2 carries, 5 yards. And I told you, look, how's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to stop the Kansas City Chiefs' 2 weapons, Kelsey and Hill? They were able to stop him, okay? Considering these 2 guys were Mahomes' top targets. Travis Kelsey, 10 receptions, 133 yards, 15 targets. Tyreek Hill, 7 receptions, 73 yards. He was locked up all game. Huge performance by the Tampa Bay secondary. Everyone else had 2 receptions and less. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was the 3rd leading reception. 2 receptions for 23 yards. Sammy Watkins, 1 catch. Demarcus Robinson, 1 catch. Darrell Williams, 2 catches. Mecole Hardman, 2 catches for 4 yards. That's not going to cut it, son. Byron Pringle, a catch for 3 yards. Not good at all. And, you had Frank Clark with 1 sack. That's not going to happen. We knew the weak part of this Tampa Bay offense was their offensive line. And you created no pressure. It's just weird to me, man. It's just weird. Let's just cover the stats first, and we'll talk more. Let's go to the Tampa Bay side of things. Tom Brady doing Tom Brady things, earning his 7th Super Bowl ring. Is he the greatest of all time? That is a very great conversation to have. Tom Brady, 21 of 29, 201 passing yards, 3 TDs, no picks, and he was sacked once with a QBR of 81.8 and a passer rating of 125.8. Excellent. Leonard Fournette, looking like vintage Leonard Fournette, high school Leonard Fournette, a little bit of college, but this dude looked like he was running back like he was in high school, man. 16 carries, 89 tough yards, a touchdown, and a long rushing touchdown of 27 yards, and that was a fantastic play. Ronald Jones, 12 carries of 61 yards. All right, pretty decent, 5.1 average. How about Gronk? Rob Gronkowski, 6 receptions, 67 yards with 2 huge touchdowns in the first half. Wow. No one expected that to happen, and we were all shocked. I was definitely shocked. And meanwhile, Leonard Fournette was the second leading reception holder for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 4 receptions of 46 yards. 15 yards was his longest reception. Mike Evans only had 1 catch for 31. Chris Godwin, 2 catches for 9. So it's not like these guys, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, tore up the secondary of the Kansas City Chiefs. Cameron Brate, 3 receptions, 26 yards. There was a lot of huge questions whether or not he would participate in this game. And fortunately for the Bucs, he did, but it's not like he was, a big contributor in this game. Antonio Brown, 5 receptions, 22 yards on a TD. Glad to see that. Hopefully his life is turning back around again. But how about Devin White? 12 tackles with an interception to close out the game. No sacks, though. 2 tackles for loss. You also had Antoine Winfield with a pick. Like I said before, the previous weeks, I've questioned the Tampa Bay Buccaneers secondary, and it turns out they did a great job. What about the Tampa Bay defensive line? Shaq Barrett, Vita Vea, and Ndamukong Suh, Jason Pierre-Paul, right? These guys were creating pressure all over the field for Patrick Mahomes. He couldn't stay in the pocket. And that was one of the biggest problems for Kansas City, for sure, in this game. Mahomes couldn't get comfortable. He couldn't find the groove because he was getting pressure the whole game. And I saw a stat. They said that Mahomes scrambled around in the pocket because he was getting pressured so much by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive line. He scrambled around in the pocket about 500 yards worth. That's how long. That's how how much he had to scramble around in the pocket. That's how much pressure the the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive line was creating. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. And so the recap. So they started the game off. But Tampa Bay got the ball first. They were stopped. They had to punt the ball away. Kansas City scored a field goal. Harrison Butker with a 49-yard field goal. Then later in that first quarter, Tom Brady drove down the field. Right, it was a bad punt by the Kansas City Chiefs punter, and yeah, you could just tell he was a rookie. Bad punt. He was in his end zone, but he couldn't even get it past the 40-yard line, I believe. It was I think about 20-yard punt, something like that. Pretty bad. So they drove down the field, and they had a nice play for Gronk, 8-yard reception in the end zone for Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, put the Bucs up 7-3. Then they got the ball back once again later in the second quarter after Kansas City, the Chiefs couldn't do anything on offense. Gronkowski once again, another 17-yard pass touchdown reception from Tom Brady, put the Buccaneers up 14-3. Before halftime, a minute left, Harrison Butker was able to put in a 34-yard field goal. But in the Super Bowl, You have to be able to score touchdowns, not field goals. Field goals will not win you games, especially the big one. And a minute left on the clock is a lot of time remaining for Tom Brady. They were able to drive down the field and convert a very successful 1-yard touchdown reception by Antonio Brown from Tom Brady to put the Tampa Bay Buccaneers up 21-6. But let's talk about this halftime show. What a terrible halftime show. I can tell you that. I mean, I don't know about anyone else, but the lights, the camera angles, all that stuff, it was just outdone. There was too many. Too craziness of a halftime show. The Weeknd, obviously a great performer, but he did too much, man. Way too much. And honestly, I felt so sick after watching. Like, not like how it was bad, but like just the camera angles itself, it just made me feel sick. And you know, it's very weird. Okay, so I'm not gonna say the C word. The C word we all know we're talking about. The whole thing that's been going on for the past year. That's the C word. So they have the C word going on, and the NFL really contradicts itself a lot. So, you know, you have to limit the amount of fans in the stadium, right? 25,000, okay, for sure, right? That's questionable. A lot of people question that. But then you have maybe close to, I don't know, a few hundred performers not complying with, you know, policies that's the NFL is also enforcing to its team, its players, and fans. That's just weird. I mean, I get it. They were tested, right? That's fantastic. But if you're going to put policies out for players to follow, for coaching staffs to follow, for teams to follow, and fans to follow, you got to make that the same thing all the way around. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Roger Goodell, it is something else. I can promise you that. All right. And even all right. So I was like, okay, are they going to do this performance? Okay, they're not on the field. That's great. You know, less people that has to be on the playing field. I'm assuming, you know, they have to have certain policies. You know, who can be on the field, the amount of people that can be on the field. You know, for player safety. Last song of the performance, here they come on the field. I'm like, are you serious? What's this whole point of Roger Goodell, you know, really finding teams hundreds of thousands of dollars worth if you're not going to protect the players? If you're not protecting players, then make all these fans, make 20,000 fans available at every single home stadium, because that's just not fair to these teams. They're losing out on millions of dollars on revenue, ticket revenue, concession revenue, media revenue, the local hospitality industry. Oh, but, you know, just because it's the Super Bowl, all those things that you put in place throughout the year, they're just thrown out the window now. Roger Goodell, you're the biggest piece of garbage I have ever seen in my life. I can promise you that. Roger Goodell, in the next CBA that needs to be addressed within the next few years. Let's confirm when that is going to be. Okay, let's see. So there will be no lockout of 2021. So I'm assuming it's going to be after. Nope. Okay, so maybe for the next 10 years. So they just renegotiated. But something needs to happen with Roger Goodell, but the owners aren't going to get rid of him. That's the problem, because the owners are making money. The players are not supporting Roger Goodell because, you know, everything that he's put in place, he's putting more games on the schedule. You know, he's not really taking player safety up in its standards, and we saw that last night, allowing hundreds of performers allowed on the same playing field as these players. But, you know, just because the owners are making millions of dollars in revenue, right, and they're actually making money, it's okay, because they'll never get rid of their buddy Roger Goodell. After so many people hate him, there can be millions of fans hate him, want him out, thousands of players want him out. Nope, can't do that. The owners control him. That's a joke. The players have no control, which I think they really should. They should have more control. So getting back into the game, okay, halftime show's over. Third quarter, once again, Kansas City gets the ball, but you cannot win a Super Bowl just by scoring field goals. Field goals will not win you games. All right, this is high school, right? You can't win field goals in a game in high school, any sport. If you're not going for the long shots, you're not going to win the game at all. Tom Brady gets the ball back, and here comes Leonard Fournette. Playoff Lenny scores a 27-yard run, puts the Buccaneers up 28-9, and that pretty much puts a dagger and a nail in the coffin. Bucks get the ball back once again. 52-yard field goal by Ryan Suckup is good, and that is the final score of the game with 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. The fourth quarter was a doozy. If you missed a game, I promise you did not miss much. 31-9, that is the final score. Devin White had the interception to seal the deal in the Kansas City Chiefs end zone when they were about to score once again. Now let's talk about the big story that I want to address. Roger Goodell, Tom Brady, the poster boy, right? Oh, okay. Well, we discussed this last time. Green Bay versus Tampa Bay. The horrendous calls they were making. They weren't calling anything the whole game, and then all of a sudden, at the end, they decided to call a ceiling call for the Packers. Here we go, man. Now these refs want to get so involved in this game that in the first half, even the analysts at halftime were saying the refs are too involved in this game. Let the players play. Let the players play because damn right, but guess what? You know why they didn't let them play? Because they have Tom Brady. You will never lose against Tom Brady as long as he's in the NFL, especially in the postseason. Right? There's this whole conspiracy going on right now. You know, they allow Tampa Bay to make that run throughout the postseason because it's in Tampa Bay. You know, it's less visitors and less travelers to come into the city. You know, for caution purposes, especially with the C word going on. So there's just one opposing team's fan base to come into the city from Kansas City. Right? Oh, okay, and then we'll fly out a certain amount of healthcare workers. Great. That definitely limits the amount of fans that are coming to the city. But this dude, Tom Brady, gets the most ridiculous calls I've ever seen in my life. How does a team that's so electrifying as the Kansas City Chiefs not put up a single touchdown in this game? Not one. They were averaging over 20 points a game. Way over 20 points a game. Putting up 20, 30, 40 points throughout the regular season against good quality teams. And you're going to tell me a team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers shut them out like that? Get out of here. Get out of here with that nonsense because there's no way that happens, ever. The fact that you have Andy Reid, definitely one of the greatest head coaches of all time. He has to be up in that picture. You have an offensive coordinator of Eric Bieniemy, who's considered, one of the best up-and-coming coaches out there, electrifying. All these players back them. He needs to have a head coaching job right away. He needs this job. And, all these executives are backing him up. You have weapons of Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Mecole Hardman back there. And then you have Patrick Mahomes. And you're telling me they don't put up a touchdown? Roger Goodell has something to do with this. You want to know why Roger Goodell has something to do with this? Because guess what? He has his little poster boy, Tom Brady, in his back pocket. Gets to do whatever he wants because he's Tom Brady. Oh, every single call going Tom Brady's way. Go figure. Right? So how about that that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Tyrann Mathieu? So you're telling me Tyrann Mathieu, just because he initiated, but Tom Brady did something back to him, he's not going to get a penalty either? No, who knows what was said? right? It's probably logical, simple player-to-player trash talk that happens all the time. Oh, here he goes. Give Tyrann Mathieu a flag, a penalty, unsportsmanlike, first down, and that sets up the Antonio Brown touchdown. What about the offsides on that punt or the field goal? It wasn't even offsides. Or the very more questionable calls of more pass interference after pass interference. The NFL is the biggest joke and is more like the WWE. Right? Fake. Rigged. All for views. And it's getting more and more comical every time you watch. And the fact that it's just becoming more obvious, it's a joke, man. Like, we all know that the NFL is rigged. We all know that they're just trying to get their poster boy, Tom Brady, become the greatest athlete of all time in every single team sport. They want the NFL to become more, known, right? Tom Brady more known than guys like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, right? All these other big time guys, Babe Ruth, Barry Bonds. And it's crazy, man. It's crazy that it's gotten to this point. Like, it doesn't make sense. A team like Kansas City Chiefs, the electrifying offense, what we all know, with all these weapons in their backfield, going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Are you kidding me? I get, Devin White's one of the best and upcoming linebackers out there, right? You have Ndamukong Suh, who's washed up. JPP, who blew his hand off with a firework, right? It's not like you have these old-time, the Steelers, greatest defense of all time back there. You have all these young guys in the secondary. It's not like these guys are well-known or great. These guys aren't Pro Bowl caliber players. They're not first-team all-NFL players, right? None of them are. And you're telling me the Kansas City Chiefs can't put up a touchdown? Come on. That's a joke. And look, here it comes. All of a sudden, the refs want to throw something the Kansas City Chiefs' way at the end of the game when it's all said and done. Come on, man. That's a joke. I'm really interested to see what's going to happen because all these guys are praising, Bruce Arians, what a great coach. If it wasn't for Bruce, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers wouldn't be who they are today. No, that's a lie, man. Get out of here. If it wasn't for Tom Brady could have been at any single team in the NFL. Done the same result. Any team. Yeah, look, Tom Brady's great. He's a good quarterback. But a team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man, what I'd like to see as a fan, let's see how great Tom Brady really is. If Roger Goodell really loves his poster boy that much, put him up to a challenge. How about this, Roger? Send Tom Brady to the New York Jets, okay? Let's see where he gets, okay? That should be the challenge. Every year, Tom Brady goes to one of the worst teams in the NFL and becomes a better team, a Super Bowl team. Because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were god-awful last year. Right? So you're telling me that this is all possible because of one person? Sure. But football's a team game. You have washed-up superstars in your backfield on the offensive side of the ball. If you were telling me this maybe 3 years ago, oh yeah, I'd be saying this team deserves it. But guys like Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski, Leonard Fournette, no. This year, present day, not happening. Young stars on the defensive side of the ball, maybe you're telling me they can stop Patrick Mahomes? Get out of here, man. It's a joke, dude. It's a huge joke, and it's a problem. And it's crazy. You could see a lot of people throughout, even a non-football fans see it. It's become a laughing joke. So my biggest proposal for next season is, as a Saints fan, sorry, Drew. I hope you don't come back. I need you to retire. Start a new chapter in our journey. NFL wise, I really hope you're able to have full capacity stadiums, especially these players, these fans, these cities. They deserve it. They need the income, they need the revenue to be able to stay afloat. A lot of these hotels rely on tourists, especially from visiting teams, to remain open. And a lot of these, facility workers, they rely on these games to be able to be played, and they want to have 18 games or 18 weeks next year. So it's going to be a big step up in this journey. We all know Trevor Lawrence is going to go one to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and stay tuned. In the near future, we'll go over maybe a mock draft. Maybe we'll do a couple mock drafts. Shout out to Jamar Chase, wide receiver. Hope you go top 3, buddy. Once again, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Super Bowl champions. Let me know in the comments down below, who do you expect to be the Super Bowl 56 champion in 2022? It's going to be a long offseason. You're going to have a lot of shakeup throughout the NFL, and we're going to continue doing these football podcasts because I enjoy them. As much as, I critique the NFL in this episode today, I really enjoy the product because of the players itself. The players itself, they deserve it. They're outstanding people, and and they're talented. They give us entertainment, and that's what it's all about. Whether you agree or disagree, that is my opinion, and that is my opinion only. It's up to you. Whatever you decide, doesn't matter to me. You like it, that's cool. You don't, doesn't matter to me. So till next time, I hope you guys enjoy this analysis of the Super Bowl 55 matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. My name's Wes with the WPT Lifestyle Show, exclusively presented on YouTube and Anchor.fm. Until next time, this is the conclusion of 2020-2021 C-Word season. I'll see y'all later. Have a great week.